So I had a really rubbish January. I won't go into it because it's not really the point of this video, but after being really unwell and spending 10 days in hospital, it made me realise how much I've used games to get through really hard times in my life. It makes sense because games are obviously a very immersive form of escapism, but I think it's a different kind of escapism than just scrolling on your phone or watching TV. I'd say that it's quite a healthy form of escapism, probably most of the time. And I think there's a reason why a lot of us feel more connected to games than we do any other form of media. So after going through quite a hard time recently, I just felt like reflecting on some of the games that have been there for me throughout hard times in my life when I've needed them most. I'm also refilming this intro as I didn't really film a proper one the first time around, so that's why I'm about to change outfits any second. So starting with what I went through recently, I took my Nintendo DS, so my 2DS XL, my modded DS, into hospital with me. I didn't want anything kind of too stimulating graphics wise. The DS games that I played a lot in hospital were number one, Tomodachi Life. I found it quite comforting because the Miis that I have on that game are all my friends and family from real life, so it kind of felt like a comfort to be able to see, obviously not familiar faces because it's not real, but just to be reminded of loved ones in a time like that is really comforting. But yeah, I just found the silliness of it in quite a serious time to be really helpful. What goes on the island is really fun, quirky, silly, not serious things, which is all something that I needed at the time. I needed something really easy to dive straight into, and Tomodachi Life really did that for me. And then other DS games that really got me through hospital, I was already playing Pokemon Black 2 at the time, which is the first time I've ever played it. And I found myself really falling in love with the Unova region. It's a really nice one. I like the top-down pixel graphics are still intact, but there's a few upgrades to the experience, like with the Pokemon sprites moving. I just found that game so full of character in a way that I wasn't expecting. Yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I am a Pokemon fan. So I also wanted to talk about some games that got me through other times of my life. So like I said before, times of feeling lost in particular. And when I think about that feeling of feeling lost in your early 20s, not knowing what direction life is going to go in, there's one game that really stands out to me that kind of encapsulates that whole feeling and experience, and that is Night in the Woods. So I played this game when I had dropped out of university. After I dropped out, I felt really lost. I didn't know what I was doing. I was quite lonely at the time because a lot of my friends had gone to uni and stuck with it. A lot of them were in different parts of the UK. I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do for a job. I'd never worked before, ever. So I'd spend hours a day looking for other opportunities. Whilst I did, in between the time of me researching, I would play Night in the Woods. I had seen the art style and really fell in love with it. I right away really identified with the main character, May. She comes back home after dropping out of college, and the story kind of picks off from there. There's a lot of mystery to it, a lot of really lovely relationships and friendships in it. I don't want to say too much about the plot because that's not really the point of this video. Night in the Woods just acted as a massive comfort for me in a really weird, uncertain time. The main character's struggle was so similar to mine at the time. It really found me where I needed it, and it's a game that means a lot to me, and I want to play it again soon. I like to play games when feels seasonally appropriate, so I might leave that one for autumn because it feels like quite a nice, cozy and spooky game. Another game that got me through a really weird time in life, and I think this will be on a lot of people's lists, is Breath of the Wild. So this might be my number one favourite game of all time. It means so much to me, and I know a lot of people feel that way as well. And I'd actually never played a Zelda game before, ever. I've never played Ocarina of Time, which is on my list. I have it on my DS. Interestingly, before I played Breath of the Wild, it had been the longest time in my life that I'd had a break from games. I went several years without really playing games at all, and it's the only time in my life that's ever been the case. And for some reason they made me really motion sick. It turned out that this whole time the reason why I couldn't play games anymore was because I needed glasses. So getting into why it got me through a weird time, like I said, got my first job in a law firm, and it was horrible. I hated it so much. Just a lot of people there really weren't very nice. It was a very corporate environment, and I'm not corporate at all. It was corporate, but it was also very unprofessional. I remember working my first full day there, and I came home and I just cried and cried. Obviously, I'd never had experience of work before, so I thought it was an example of what the rest of my working life would be like. So I'd come home after Zelda had come out and played it every night, and it really got me through. Because the Switch was portable as well, I could take it in with me at lunch, and I would not want to sit in the kitchen with anyone because, as I said, I hated being in that office. So I would go downstairs and sit in the lobby area, eat my lunch by myself and play my Switch, and it really got me through. I didn't bring it in often, to be fair, because I really wanted something to look forward to at the end of the day, and I preferred playing it in docked mode at the time as well. Just because the world was so pretty, I liked seeing it on the bigger screen of my TV. I just fell in love with that game. I love Breath of the Wild so much. I'm a big fan of Studio Ghibli, however you want to say it, and that game really reminds me of Studio Ghibli. The art style, the tone, the characters, it just feels very Miyazaki coded. Okay, so I've kind of talked about games getting me through illness, through horrible jobs, through feeling lost, but something that I think's worth mentioning, and what a lot of people have experienced because we all kind of went through the same thing, is loneliness. I want to touch on a game that got me through COVID in particular. So during COVID, I had to get surgery. Obviously, I couldn't really see anyone. I had to isolate, had to be in my bubble, we called it in the UK. And a game that really got me through COVID in particular was Stardew Valley. But I kept putting off playing Stardew Valley because I had it in my head that it was similar to Animal Crossing but wasn't as good. So I don't know why I didn't give it a chance, it's not really fair. But one day I thought, you know what, I'm just going to bite the bullet, I'm going to get Stardew Valley and see what all the fuss is about. And from day one, I fell in love. I played it all day. I was obsessed. Even to this day, I prefer it to Animal Crossing. I never thought I'd say that because I'm a big Animal Crossing fan, but I don't know why I was even comparing them in the first place, because they are completely different games. And I think why Stardew Valley in particular really helped during COVID is because the rich characterisation of all the townspeople and the sense of community that game has is really special and feels so real. I think Concerned Ape did an amazing job with all the kind of character writing, all the story to that game, all the relationship building. There's no game out there for me that compares to that sense of community that Stardew Valley has. And I think a sense of community is something that we were all lacking in COVID, and something that I really found through that game. And I still play Stardew Valley. I love that game and I always will. And lastly, I have an honourable mention, because it's not something that I typically include in a list like this because it's an MMO, and that is RuneScape, particularly old school RuneScape. And I wanted to talk about this because I've recently started playing it again, and really surprisingly been enjoying it. I played so much RuneScape as a child. I was definitely addicted, and I was quite a nerdy child. I felt quite out of place. I wasn't necessarily socially anxious, I wasn't really shy. I just felt a bit off, and I can't really explain why. I loved fantasy, I loved dragons. When I found RuneScape, it just set my imagination on fire in the best way. Some people skit at old school RuneScape's graphics and say it's ugly. I couldn't disagree more. I think the simplicity really adds to its charm. I just felt like it was this massive world that I could escape to and really be myself in. And it just felt like a way for me to channel my personality and my interests, my interest in fantasy and exploration. And it wasn't necessarily a really hard time in my life, just a bit of a weird one, where I felt like the comfort of RuneScape really helped me along and really kind of informed my taste in games and made me who I am today as well. So I'm really kind of grateful to RuneScape for that. So that was my list of games that have got me through some tough times in life. I'd be really interested in hearing what games got you through some hard times in your life as well. If things are getting tough, what do you turn to? What always makes you feel better? I really want to say thank you so much to everyone who subscribed after my first 2 videos. At the time of recording this, I have 57 subscribers, which is amazing to me. The fact anyone saw my videos and liked them and commented is so lovely to me, and I really appreciate each and every one of you, so thank you so much. But yeah, I'm really glad to be back. Thank you for watching. Bye!